Welcome guys, this is day 2 of learning Python for data science and machine learning, and in this video we will be learning about Python strings. Yeah, you got me right. Python strings. So we have already opened our Jupyter notebook, and in order to create a new notebook you have to click file here and select new notebook. This will open a new notebook and you have to select the default kernel. In my case it is Python 3. Select it, and if you want to rename the file you can rename strings and hit enter. Now in order to save some time I will be copying paste most of the text in order to save some time. So let's begin. The Python strings or strings in Python are surrounded by either single quotation marks or double quotation marks. That is how simple it is. There is nothing more to understand. So anything that is enclosed between this, anything that is enclosed within these brackets, or you can say quotes, are called as strings. This is the simple definitions of string. Now how we can use these strings in our programming languages. So let's press shift and hit enter. Now as you can see, this bracket indicates that this bracket or this block is executable. Here we can execute our command. So we will type print and open our parenthesis and paste the code or text and hit run. It will print back the text. This is how you can display a text on the screen. So let's take another example. Print, if suppose this is a double quotation, and if I want to print quotes print, and this is how you print the strings quotes. If you run it you can get the same result. So and now we have come to the point of assigning a strings. Assigning a string is very simple. All you have to do is assign a variable or write a variable name followed by a equal to signs, and then you write the strings that you want to assign. So for example, let me show you. If you want to assign a name to a variable name, this is a variable, name is the variable, then you press equal to and you type the name of the person or anything. In my case I will write AI ready coder and press enter. Now if I want to display this name on the screen, all I have to do is refer this name, refer to the variable, and it will print back the strings. So if I press, this is how it displays back. So there are multiple ways we can use the quotation marks. In our case we are using it in a single line, but there are times when you want to use multiple lines or to display the text in multiple lines. In that case you can use the multiple line strings to display these strings. Let me show you how. You can use the 3 quotes functions or 3 quote feature to display the text in multiple lines. For example, you can use 3 double quotes. A, this is multi-line strings. This is a variable name, okay? And you can one quotes and 2 quotes and 3 quotes. So this is how you do a multiple line quotes. Now if I write anything on this line, it will be printed in exact same format. So this is a simple text containing multiple line text enclosed in a double triple quotes, and this is how you write or use the strings in a multiple line format. Now it's time to print it. Simply copy this and paste it and run the block. Now it prints back exactly how I wrote in the variable sections. So now moving on to strings or array. So like any other programming languages, string in Python are array of bytes representing Unicode character. However, Python doesn't have a character data type. A single character is simple. A string with a length of 1 square bracket can be used to access element of the strings. This is what I mean. So strings are array. Like many programming languages, string in Python are array of bytes representing Unicode character. However, Python doesn't have a character data type. A single character is simply a string of length 1 square bracket can be used to access element of a string. So let me show you what I mean. A hello Stephen. Now if I print the position of the string, it will give me h. If you repeat the same over and over again, we can get the index of every item or every character in that string, double quotation string. So let me do it quickly. 1 2 3 4 5 6. If you print it back, you can see h stands at position or index at 1 0. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6, yeah, and e stands at index 2, l stand at its index 2, and so on and so forth. So this is how you can say that strings are basically an array, and every character or every array of representing a Unicode characters. So moving on, now we have seen that strings are array. Is it possible to loop through these strings characters just like any other array we are going to see? So let's see how easy it is to loop through the character or strings characters. For example, in this case we will use for loop. We will discuss for loop in greater details, but for now it is for just for introduction purposes. So for x in AI ready coder, it is basically a text, and now if we print back x, it should return me each letter in a separate line. Now as you can see, it print backs the number or character represented in each line, means. So this is how you loop through a character in a strings. So moving on to the string length, is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. We can find the length of any strings enclosed in a double quotation marks or single quotation marks. So to do that, we have a special function called length, len, in double quotation, double parenthesis closes. So for example, I have a character or b, and it's called hello world. Let's say hello. How many characters do you think it has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 characters, but it took us time to count it. But what if we have a character like hello, 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 hello? Now, but before doing that, let's print it first. Print length of b. Length of b will be, let's format in this way, string len b, or you can say this one, length of b is equal to len b, and I will paste it here and print it back. It gives me the exact number that we have counted earlier, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 characters in the string, in this string. We have easily counted it because of the small number of letters. But what if the number is such that it is very difficult to count and it might take some time? In that case, we can simply use the method length or len enclosed in the parenthesis of the variable that we are using. Now run it again, and you can see it prints back the number of characters very easily. So it's pretty easy to check the length of any strings. Now let's moving on to another function. What if you want to look for a particular text or particular word in a strings that you're looking for, and make a decisions or make some operations based on that? So check strings is where we land. Check strings, it helps to look for certain phrases or character presented in strings. We can use keyword. So this is how we are going to do it. Let's type example check string, and now check if pre is presented in the following text. This is the text, and the best things in life are free, such as oxygen, air, and so on. It's this example. So we will try to look if phrase is available in these strings or not. So in order to do that, we will use a simple way called in. In. So that will be check if phrase is available. So I will type phrase in and text. So this is the simplest way we can check if the phrase or any word, for example life is in text. And now if we print back, it will give us true because it is already present in the text. But if we write something that it isn't, then it will throw us a false. So like car, and print it again, it will show us false. So this is how you check any keyword in the strings or not, string is available or not. So same goes for check not. If we want to verify or check whether a particular keyword is not present in the strings, in that case we will use not. Check we will use a keyword called not. So let's moving on to the same example. Let's use the same example. If car Honda or pool is pool not in text, then print no pool is not available in text. So let's print it back. It says no. If you type in else, print yes, pool is available in text. Now if we add this keyword somewhere else, somewhere in so pool, and if we run it again and run it here, it will change the statement, it will change the result, because now the pool is available in the text, as you can see, and it gives me a counter questions or counter statement. Yes, pool is available in text. If we remove it and run it again, it will revert back to the previous conditional statement. Moving on to the Python slice strings, and let's Python slice strings or slicing strings. You can return a range of characters by using the slice syntax. Especially the start index and the end index. Specify the start index and end index, separated by a colon, to return a part of strings. There are times that when you want to return certain strings or certain words from the text, this is how you do it. So for example, as a slicing strings, there is a text called hello coder, and now I want to print certain text, not the whole text. So in order to do that, first we write the variable name, and now we will open a square bracket and specify the number or index number of the characters that we want to slice it from. So for your information, this h stands at index 0, and from that onward we will start counting. E stands at index 1, L stands for index 2, so and so forth. So this is how you start counting. So if I start, or if I write, if 1 to index like 7, or let's go 8, and close the square bracket and print it, you will see it does exactly the same. It starts at index E, which is where the index is, and went all the way back to the character A. This is the positions of position A character is it at position 8, index 8. So this is a special note. First character has index 0. Now if you want to slice from the beginning all the way to a particular index number, you use a special case, which is to print without specifying the initial or start index. What I mean by that is, press B variable and don't give the start index, and press colon and specify the 8 or ending index and press run. You will see that it automatically starts from 0 all the way down to A, which is at index number 8. Same goes for slicing at the end, or slicing at the end. Print. Now if I press 2 and colon and close the square bracket and print it, it throws me an error. Oh, there is a problem. I have mentioned it curly bracket. It was supposed to be a square bracket. Now it prints back the whole text after the initial or start index all the way down to the last digit. So this is how you slice the strings in different cases based on your requirement. So let's begin to another case, which is to modify strings. Modifying strings can be done using different cases. So here we will see there are few cases like upper cases, lower cases, and sometimes there are times we need to remove the white spaces, replace strings or split strings. So all we can do is use a command given already in the Python. For example, in order to use the uppercase, we will use a function called upper. So example uppercase A. Now let's write in small case, and now print in uppercase. A and you have to use a function upper and run it. As you can see, it converted the lowercase strings into uppercase strings. Same goes to the lowercase. If I type B and copy this, and now if I print back lowercase b and run it again, it will convert the capital or uppercase letters into lowercase. Now moving on to removing the white spaces. So what are white spaces? White spaces are spaces which can be seen before or after the text or strings. For example, say this text contains space before and after the strings statement. So these are all white spaces. As you can see, there are white spaces at the beginning and there are white spaces at the end. Let me, yeah, there it is. So what if we want to remove all those spaces programmatically? So you can do it by stripping the white spaces using the function called strip. So strip method removes any spaces from the beginning or the end. So say remove spaces. All I have to do is press the variable name, type the variable name and type strip, and now print it back. Print C. As you can see, it removes the spaces before and after the strings. After the strings. Sorry, this is without using the strip functions. Strip remove. This is the text without the white spaces. If you print side by side, you can see there is a space before this text and there is no space before this text or strings. So this is how you remove the white spaces from your text in Python. Now let's moving on to removing text in Python. Suppose there are some text all over your code and you want to remove the text from the string or keyword from the string. All you have to do is use a function called replace. So let's take a small example. Hello world, and now we will remove the world with AI decoder. So replace world. Now D replace, type the first word which you want to replace and with what word you want to replace. Now if you print it, replaced word, As you can see, the word world is being replaced with India. So this is how you replace or remove word from your Python strings. Suppose there are times that you want to split certain number of text to use in different conditions. So in order to do that, we use a function called split. It splits the text into a list. The split method returns a list where the text between the specified separator becomes the list items. So what that means, example, this split method split the strings into substring if it finds instances of the separator. So so suppose we want to split both this text into separate words. Here we will use a separator comma. Print separate this. So I will type a split and use the separator sign comma and print it. As you can see, the separated text are returned in a list format. These are in the list format. You can do multiple operations based on your requirement on this. So this is how the string is being returned as list using the method split, and the separator have to be mentioned in order to use this function. Ever wonder how we can join or add two strings stored in different variables? So it is a method or it is a feature we can use called string concatenation. Yeah, it basically does is, if we have to separate variables like a, in this case hello, and now we had another variable with strings world. Now if we want to combine all of these strings into different variables, we use a simple and very mathematical operator called plus. So C A plus C, just like the maths, we can add strings too. Now if we print C, it will add both these strings and return the result. So that's how simple it is. If we want to add a little bit of spaces, we can add a space too by putting a double quotations and then space and then adding. Now we can run it. You can see space has been added. So this is how you add two strings in different variables. But now that doesn't mean that we can do the same for the number and strings too. We cannot add a number and a strings together. As you can see, I'm going to use an example to add integer and strings. Suppose this is a integer and now this is my name is Stephen and I am age. Let's rename the variable age and text. My name is Stephen and I am age year old. So if we print back, it should give us an error. Yeah, so we can only concatenate strings, not integer. So this is a drawback of Python, and it is for special purposes or special case where we cannot directly add a integer and strings just like we did with the strings. So we need to format this in order to achieve the result or display the text of integer and strings all together. So we need to format using in a way that we can add both the integer and strings all together. So let me show you how. Moving on to the same example, let me hold on. So in the above example, we cannot combine strings or integer directly, strings and integer directly, but we can combine strings and number by using the format method. The format method takes the passed arguments and formats them and places them in the strings where the placeholder 2 curly brackets are. So this is what I mean. For example, moving on to the same example, use the format method to insert the numbers into strings. So my name is Stephen, my age is 24, and now if I print back, my name is, this is a placeholder which is represented in curly brackets, and I am year old. If we print back, text format. So this is a method we use to format our text or strings. Now this is the variable name. We use a format method to place my name and age separated by comma, and now when we print it, it should give me the desired result, which is it basically takes the strings from this variable and the integer from this variables, and it places the strings and integer in a placeholder where we have mentioned the curly brackets. So it displays an output. My name is Stephen and I am 24 years old. So this is how we can format a strings and combine the integer and strings all together and print the desired result. To better understand this, let's take some another example. And also to mention that this format function takes an unlimited number of arguments and places them in a respective placeholder. But what if the numbers of argument increases to a level that we are unable to format it in a manner that it makes sense? So in that case, we will use the index number to place the desired variables or strings in the placeholder in the locations. So let's take an example. My order. So I want so let me add some variable before. Quantity 3, item number, so this is the number of the item, and now price, let's suppose 78. So this is the price, and now this is the text we want to format it with. PIE pieces of items for dollar. Now if we want to format, we can simply type my order format and now put the desired variables in their locations. So quantity, item number, and now price, and so it throws me an error. My order is not defined. Oh, my mistake, there was some typo. Now if we run it again, now as you can see, all the variables mentioned here has been beautifully placed in their locations. But what if we have a different statement and we don't want to mess things up with the existing thing? So what if we have a different kind of statement like this one? My order, I want to pay $2 for, I mean to say I want to pay dollar for pieces of items. Then now the statement has been changed. Now in order to counter this statement with the existing variables, we need a different approach, and that approach is to use the index number. So now we can use the index numbers between this curly bracket to distinguish the quantity or distinguish the, so let me show you what I mean. So put back the same format, or sorry, same statement. Now we need to change the order variable name, and as you can see, this is at number 1, this is at number 2, and this is at number 3. So if you run it, so I have to run this variable name. Now as you can see, the dollar and the pieces of items has been arranged in a way that it makes sense and it's formatted in an organized manner. So this is how you format a strings using the format function. Moving on to Python escape characters. So escape character is a character. Suppose to insert characters that are illegal in strings, we use a escape character. An escape character is a backslash followed by a character you want to insert. So as an example of this is suppose there is a word you want to enclose in a double quotation mark surrounded by another double quotation marks. So in that case, our statement or our strings, it is kind of illegal to use a double quotation mark surrounded by another double quotation marks. So in that case, we use a escape characters to insert illegal characters, or for say it is called an illegal in a sense that it wasn't supposed to be inserted in that way, but we are inserting it anyway. So let's for example example of escape characters. Here you will get an error if you use double quotes inside a string that is surrounded by double quotes. So for example, text, most of the entrepreneurs so here you can see I have inserted a double quotations inside another double quotation marks. So it begins to give me a kind of illegal way to use the strings. It began to give me a sense of illegal string uses. So let me first complete the sentence. Who are most of the entrepreneurs whom are worth more than the $1 billion are from the Silicon Valley. Now if we press shift and enter, it will give me an error, which is a way of saying that it is illegal to use the double quotation in this sense. So what do? We want to use the double quotation marks inside a string surrounded by double quotes. So to fix this problem, we use the forward slash character called escape character. So let me rewrite the sentences, but this time we will use the escape characters. Now it is a backward slash character. Now if we insert a backward slash character, escape characters, now as you can see, all the errors goes away. Now if I print the text, it gives me the output without throwing an error. So this is how you can use an escape characters. So let me mention few escape characters which you can use. So these are the few escape characters which is available in Python to use. This is a new line, and that is a carriage return and tab, backspace and other thing. So thanks for watching. This is how you use escape characters, and this is how we forward and use concatenations in the strings, replaces or use uppercase letters, lowercase letters and slide strings. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.